Welcome back to the channel. Morning. It's a bit cold this morning in the garage. It's a bit chilly. It's obviously winter time now, so getting some heat on. Just thought I'd give you a quick update. Obviously, we're now doing more on the car because I've got a list of things to do now. So I've done, I haven't done a video on it, but I'm just going to explain it quickly. So I've basically I've repainted the whole underside. I've polished the exhaust, which I've covered in the last video. I've repainted all the backing plates. I've repainted all the hubs and everything now. Dust still masked up, which I'll show you in a minute. That's all need doing. Done the drive shafts. I've been underside. I've been cleaned all the sort of Jubilee clips up and all the clips on the CV boots and everything. Just want it to look as sort of nice as possible underneath. I've got a list of things to do. So I've got to finish the engine bay. I've had my parts now arrive from Japan. Nothing's too serious. It was just it's always missing on the gearbox. There was a kind of a boot that went around the clutch fork. That was always open. I could notice the clutch was getting a bit rusty. And a hole which I thought was an inspection hole is not. It's actually a breather hole. So I sent a picture to DJP Rally Art, which is a good contact of mine. And he's sorted out these parts, sent them over from Japan, and I've actually fitted those so I could show you those. If it's nothing major, but it's just something I wanted to do, and I keep looking at it, thought there must be something there, there should be something there. So we've got the engine bay to finish off, I've got the strut brace to fit, I've got the rest of the pipes to fit. That's all we'll be doing, refit the battery. Now I need to check all the connections, make sure everything's okay, obviously, before I start it. I put the bottom radiator hose on. So that's hopefully I'm going to try and get it started and get the coolant all bled through the system. I need to do that because I need to bleed the brakes. That's the next job. So I've taken all the brake lines off now, something I necessarily wasn't going to do, but I've now decided that as the car was in pieces, so now I've had to take the brake lines off. That was a bit of a challenge, I must admit. I've been on there for, 15 years. I had to get the old heat gun out. Well, not heat gun, sorry. I had to get the blowtorch out and try and burn some of them. Obviously, I've been painting it over the years, so I've had to burn all the paint off. I've now got all that off. I managed to get the brake lines off without snapping anything, which is great. So I've got a new set of exact brake lines. Sorry, not exact, sorry. Hell ones from Ross Sport. A nice set of red ones, which I will show you a bit later when I'm fitting them. I'll do a little video of fitting them. Obviously, I've got a little bleed kit, so I've got to bleed the car, bleed all the brakes. I'm also going to bleed the clutch because obviously everything's come out of the system, so that all needs doing as well. I'm going to refit the shocks today, hopefully, and then I've got to refit all the boot trim, which you can probably see is in a big pile just there. Got to fit all that. I've got some new clips for those because I broke a couple of those on the way out. So all the boot trim needs refitting. So we've got plenty more to do. What else have I got to do? So I've got to do that. I've got to refit a bit of trim on the inside. That's got to be done. I've done the calipers, painted the calipers best I can. They were a bit chipped. I managed to find a paint that kind of matches. So I've got to do that. I've got to fit I've got a new hose for the blow off or dump valve, whatever you call it. The old one they basically reused the old pipe, and the old pipe was soft, rubbish, just looks awful. So I've got a new 90-degree hose for that. I've also got another hose I've got to cut. Again, that fits just on the back. That comes from the EGR, I think that one's from. That one fits as well. So I'm just trying to get rid of all the old hoses because I don't want any issues with any hoses breaking, anything like that, anything blowing off, all new Jubilee clips. I've got to check all the engine again, obviously, because I've got to check all the coolant hoses, make sure those are okay. So there's plenty more to do. So I'm just going to quickly show you around the car and see where we're at with it. Right, so here we are, just to show you that's the engine bay where we're at the moment. The two I was talking about, as you can't quite see because I fixed it now, if you look down sort of there, you can see there's a boot on the clutch fork. That was missing. And also on there, if you can see, there's a breather hose there as well. I thought, again, that was inspection, but it's not. So here we are at the moment. I've got this hose on. I've just got to recut it. That's a new hose. I cut it a bit long, so it doesn't quite fit. It tends to try and push off the induction pipe, which is not terribly best thing to do. I've been around the engine bay. I've changed I did have these red ones originally, but now I've changed those to some nice, if you can just see, there's some JDM ones which look quite nice. So I've changed all those on the side, changed all those on the front, Showed you all those. I've also done various bolts. I've got rid of the old 10mm bolts and put some nice shiny stainless steel ones in. I've painted the top nuts there, so they'll match when I put the strut base back on, which is something I'm hoping to do later. So just show you around the car where we are at the moment. So down here, you can sort of see, it's sort of work in progress. So I've painted all the hubs, all the backing plates and everything. Excuse the wooden block, that's just holding up suspension, so when I took the nuts off it didn't fall in. I've repainted the shock at the top there was a bit rusty. I mean, they're not very old, but they seem to be peeling a little bit, so I've used some of the paint from the rear shocks and sort of tidied all that up. You can see in there I've painted it all in there, that's all coming together nicely. Tidied up the calipers, can't quite see because it's all in masking tape. I'll just move around to the back, show you where we're at. I'll have to get a torch and show you under the car. So again, with the rear back, so we're painting all those, that's all been done. Looking pretty good actually. You can't quite see the rear arm because it's covered up. But again, that's work in progress. So I'm hoping to get all that taken off later on. I'll have a little look under the car. I don't know if you can quite see. It's sort of... So you can see under the car, there we are at the moment. It's all been painted. I've painted the rear arms. Arms have been done. Painted the rear subframe. Got in there as best as I can. I'm not going to do taking things apart. I don't have to, so I don't really want to do that. So I'm going to do this. The only thing I did notice, the one thing I have done, which I thought was probably not a good idea, I've painted the camber bolts on the back. Now my concern is that if we try and adjust the suspension, which I need doing, it's all going to be solid. So my plan is to get the blowtorch on it, try and burn all the paint off, and then cover that in copper slip so it's available to be used. I've did the front ones, I've redone the camber bolts and everything on the front, but the rear, I'm quite sure they're at the top there. On the rear, they're covered in paint, and I don't think the nuts are going to come off very well, so I just need to maybe go over that and get rid of those, try and get rid of that. But yeah, so that's where we are at the moment. So there's plenty more to do, so I'll shoot a video and let you know how we get on.